Okay, so to make your box, you're going to need a template. The template we're using is 4 by 4 by 6, and your box can either be wide or tall. You're going to need 5 pounds of clay to complete this box. 3.5 will make the box, and then you'll have 1.5 pounds to add the feet, the handle, and other things that you'd like to add to it. Always start by wedging your clay and making sure that it's nice, even consistency. Your box has 6 sides, a top and a bottom, a front and a back, and a right and a left. It'll be important that you make 2 of each piece. You want them to be the same thickness as your thickness strips. In this case, we will modify our thickness strips to make them 3/8 of an inch rather than a 1/4 of an inch. As you're rolling out your pieces, you're going to want to take your time and do a nice job. Quality counts when you're making this. If you take your time now, everything will be easier later as you're trying to put your pieces together. Additionally, when you roll your pieces out, you're going to want to roll all 6 of them out in the same day, get them all wrapped up the same day so that they're all consistently leather hard when you begin to put your box together. Don't forget to use a rib on your clay. It's important that you smooth the surface of it. It'll help make it stronger as well as smooth. You'll want to use a paper clip and a straight edge to cut your pieces out. The thickness strips work great to give you a straight edge while cutting. If you rely on the edge of the paper, your cuts will usually not be straight. Continue the process of wedging, rolling, ribbing, and cutting till you have all 6 sides finished. Now you'll want to wrap your pieces in newspaper. I would use 3 layers of paper in between each piece. The paper will help to absorb some of the extra moisture in your clay and help it get leather hard. Additionally, it will help keep your pieces from sticking together. You can stack your pieces from largest to smallest. Once your pieces are wrapped, you're going to want to store them in a plastic bag. It's important that they're sealed in a bag, otherwise they may get too dry to continue working on. Pieces that are dry will have a tendency to crack and your box will come apart. Also noticed I left an air bubble in the bag. That little bit of extra air in there helps the clay get leather hard. You'll want to put your box together in a certain order. Everything is stacked onto the bottom piece. The right and the left fit in between the front and the back pieces. Keep in mind this is only a simulation on how your box gets put together. You'll definitely want to score, slip, and weld your pieces well so that your box stays together when it's finished. Once your pieces are leather hard, it's time to start putting your box together. We're going to use what's called a butt joint, where the pieces just set right on top of each other or right next to each other. What we're going to do is we're going to build all of our pieces onto the base. So you'll score all the way around the edges of the base, and the front and the back, as well as the 2 sides, will fit right on top of that. I can't stress how important the scoring is here. With slab construction, pieces that are not properly scored, that don't have enough slip, and that aren't welded together well will crack. And a lot of times they'll crack and it'll be very big, obvious cracks in your piece. You'll want to take the time, if you score deeply and well as add enough slip and make sure things are welded together well, your box should stay together. But it's going to take you some time, but it's worth the time and effort to make sure that this craftsmanship aspect of your piece is done very well. Once all your pieces are scored, you're ready to add slip and weld them together. When you're working, you can score and slip one area at a time as you go, or you can do multiple areas. That's what I'm doing here. I've scored and I'm adding slip to the whole bottom piece before I start attaching anything to it. Remember, the two sides go in between the front and the back. Here I'm putting the front piece on and the side is in between it. Next we'll add the other side. And then finally we'll add the back piece after that. Once you have all four sides on the base, what you'll want to do is you'll want to take some time and you'll want to clean up your seams, make sure it's reinforced, make sure it's very well welded together. Just spend some time on making sure it stays together and the quality of the craftsmanship in the build. Also, make sure the inside is nice. Even though we're sealing the box up, later on we're going to open it up and it'll save a lot of work later on by making sure the inside looks nice before you seal everything up. Once that's all done, you're going to want to score the top of the box. You'll want to score the underside of the lid and attach those together. Once again, when you finish scoring, add slip and weld the top to the box. Seal up everything real well. Once your box is sealed up, take a rib and scrape all of your edges. Make sure that everything is smooth. Once your box is all together and smooth, you're going to want to add a handle and feet. It's really up to you what you do for the feet and the handle. They should fit the theme and the concept of your box. Now that the feet and the handle are secure, it's time to work on creating the opening for the lid. Because my feet stick out a little bit on my box, I'm laying it on a board so that it doesn't smash the edge of the feet. I'm using a template that is drawn to help me figure out where to do the design on the edges of my box. I trace the design on all four sides of the box. It's important that the edges or the corners of the designs match up with the corners or the edges as you turn the box over. Once your design is drawn, it's time to cut your box open. You'll want to use something like an x-acto knife to cut it open. You can cut it in class using an x-acto knife or something you might have at home. Once again, take your time and do a nice job. Quality matters. It's worth taking a little bit of extra time and making sure the design comes out nice. Try not to saw with the knife, but cut into it and keep a smooth action. Once you open your box, dip your finger in water and smooth the edges. Make sure that everything is kind of soft so that when it's fired, it's not going to be sharp later on. Also check all the internal corners to make sure that they're all smooth and they're going to look nice once the box is finished. I'm cutting out the heart that I used to make the opening. Once I make 4 of them, I'll attach them to the box.